Hello everybody and welcome in for another round of our endurance series here at Midwest Esports. So we're going to Canada this weekend. We've got a smaller group of guys today, so we're only going to be doing a short qualifying, but we will be doing the 100% feature race, so don't worry about that there. So as you can see there, we got 7 challengers out there tonight. Everyone's still going to be in the pits making their final selections for setups and choosing their amount of fuel they want to take on some of these out laps here. So once we get some guys out on track, we'll be able to get going. So we're going to be taking a look here at some of our standings. As far as the constructor standings go, we've got Williams established themselves a nice lead. They're leading the front with 120 points, followed by Aston Martin with 97 points. And then following that, we've got Mercedes taking that number 3 spot down to Haas and Alpine rounding out your top 5 there. So you only got one Williams in the fight tonight and one Aston Martin, so these guys are going to be looking to put in a good showing. Williams looking to extend and hold on to that lead. Aston Martin are going to be hoping that Williams is going to be on their back foot so they can get a bit more of an advantage over up in the points department there. So we're going to take a look over at our driver standings here. We've got Scorenzi and Lancey, the Williams pair, going to be your top 2 drivers. Just Scorenzi leading the front with 71. Dominant lead over Lancey with 49 in second place. Tied for second, though, is Elma Jacko. As you can see, he's going to be racing here tonight against Lancey. So expecting to see those guys go into a bit of a head-to-head at some point here tonight. And then rounding out number 4 is going to be Lightwork, who is at 45 points for the Haas team. He's not here tonight, unfortunately, so any of his competition is going to be looking to take advantage of that. Mead following that spot up with 44 points. He is here tonight in the Mercedes, so I'm going to be expecting something from him this evening. Got a couple guys out on track now, doing some of their warm-ups, making sure their tires are exactly where they're going to want them. See, A-Dub here is going to be our first on a flying lap in the Ferrari. This street circuit here is a little bit technical. You don't want to take too much on some of these curbs and corners, as it is very easy to see yourself off into a gravel trap or into a wall. So these drivers are going to have to use a lot of precision with their where they want to place their cars, especially if during overtakes, as there's not a whole lot of room to get that done around here, but there's still a couple nice long straights to give us some good action. So AW going to set the first lap with a 111.3 there in the Ferrari. So nothing too shabby there. It's going to be our first attempt. I'm not sure how much practice he's had. I know some of these guys haven't been able to get a ton of practice time in, but we'll see what everyone else is able to put up on the board in comparison to that. See Lancey there sets a slightly faster lap time there in the Williams, 111.306, so just a couple of hundredths faster of a second there. I see Elma Jacko now coming up on that final straight. And this is a pretty good straight to get overtaking done on, although coming down towards the end here, as you're going to see, it is going to require a good bit of braking just so you can make this final chicane here, and you have to be precise not to smash into the wall of champions there. This is going to come all the way up to the line farther down here, and you're going to see Elma Jacko with the 111.5 for his first run out. Not sure if that's all the pace he's going to have for us tonight. I know these times are going to get a little bit faster as we move into qualifying. Won't have 3 rounds tonight, but we just got the 12-minute timer due to a short qualifying format this evening. So we're going to see a couple guys still in the pits there. Meeb is coming out of the pits now. Baba Yaga has yet to come out as well. And you're going to see Vil starting his flying lap, so we'll go ahead and ride on board with him. See, goes a little bit wide there, almost runs off into the grass, but does well to hold on to it there. I want to just ease off the throttle here and just kind of coast around some of these corners, not to kick up any extra wheel spin.
Hello, hello, can you hear me?
Hey, there he is. Got Ford in the broadcast with us tonight too, chat. So he's ready to throw down with us all night long. How you feeling? Ready to get this thing over on the road?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I mean, I think pretty much all these guys are, you know, really experienced drivers in Midwest, and I'm not expecting a lot of DNFs. I got my fingers crossed. I think we got 7 guys and we can get 7 finishers, but just gotta hope that none of them kind of give up over time, you know, where they just DNF because they're so far behind or something. So far ahead, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think we got pretty much everyone here, I'm guessing, is pretty consistent. I know I've raced against most of these guys, and I've been riding on board with Villeneuve. Looks like he's got a little bit of a shaky car, but it seems like even he's able to keep pretty good control. I think with tonight's mix too, we should get a good bit of racing in both the front and the back end. I know a lot of them are close in contention to each other too.
Did you take a run through the standings?
I have, yes, yeah.
Okay.
The Williams in their dominant lead once again.
A little bit shaky there from Not Gravity. He's come across the line, and maybe that was his flyer, I don't know. Or his warm-up lap.
Might have been. He is a little bit shaky. Down there with a 113.5. You know, and as I was taking a look at these standings, our forward seems to notice that I'm currently running ahead of you in points at the moment.
I've missed so many races, it's ridiculous. I thought I tailor-made this schedule to be perfect for, you know, when I like knew I was going to be available. But, you know, that's life for you.
Yeah, life happens sometimes.
That's right. But, yeah, I'm hoping I'll have my rig and everything set up and can finally start doing some laps in a couple of weeks here. I get my rig all set up.
Be nice to have you back.
Yeah, I know. It's clear these guys need me, you know.
Well, I mean, hey, you help add to the spin counter, so.
Oh yeah, of course. I'll always pitch in 1 or 2 every single night.
That's awfully kind of you.
You know me. I think Meeb is on a flyer here.
He is, yeah.
Coming through the...
Just coming up onto the final chicane now.
Wall of Champions.
You got
yellows.
Awfully close there. A 114.1. So nothing...
A little bit of a shocking lap there for me, but
that's a bit off.
I'm sure a last to first challenge would not be too difficult with this group.
No, it would not. I think it'd be a bit of a fun challenge, actually. You know, maybe for in the future for Midwest for our post-season racing, we could do like a championship versus like a D6 group or something like that. Last to first challenge.
But yeah, that's kind of like, I mean, have you seen the interdivisional race that Midwest puts on?
Yeah, I've watched a little bit of it.
Yeah, so like, there's just pick the top two and then, reverse rank the cars.
Yeah.
So like the D1 guys get the Williams and so on. Um, but yeah, I mean, since now we're cut down a couple of divisions, maybe we could throw some 100% guys in there.
That would be pretty fun.
I don't know where you'd exactly rank them, but
I'm not sure. I would want to say like a safe bet would be like a midfield car.
yeah, but then again, like those cars, like in the every time we have the interdivisional, those cars are always the most like overpowered. Because if you put, you know, guys in D3, D4, like the quickest guys in those groups in the midfield cars, I mean, they can really get up there and compete with guys like Scornsy and Ryan Rods in the Williams, which is crazy to say.
Yeah, that
But
would
those
be
guys, I mean, they're so skilled at this game, and like, you know, they can beat out a lot of other guys in the slowest car in the game. So
yeah, the D1 guys are. I don't even think they're human anymore.
no, I mean, there's a couple of them that are just on their own level, you know.
Yeah. Frick, even when I raced like D2, those guys seemed impossible to catch.
It's like Meeb went for another. Oh, and he just had a big one.
Spins himself right into the wall. So I didn't see any of his front wing come flying off. No, it looks intact still.
Baba Yaga was a little bit lucky he was on his outlap there.
Yeah. Yeah, Meeb's gonna walk away with that with no front wing damage.
Wow. Is that right? There's no way. He has to have front wing damage. He hit the wall straight on.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at his car though, and it's got nothing. Gonna see Baba Yaga
That's
now.
insane.
Last to set his flying lap. Jacko took over the lead spot, was by the way with a 111.1, so a bit more representative of his pace, fighting out at the front.
And I gotta say, I mean, there's like obviously a lot of these guys in this group are, big names in 100% series. Jacko and Vil and Meeb and guys that have had a long, history of racing in the league. But I mean, I feel like one of the guys we don't really talk about a whole lot is Baba Yaga. Like he's one of he could be 2 laps, 3 laps down, but he will finish the race, and he always gets himself some good points. So I'm happy for him that he's racing tonight, so he can just pick up those points, show that he turns up week in, week out, and that's how you become a top 10 driver, is being there when other people aren't. So
yeah, absolutely.
It's cool to see.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And yeah, I think since we've had this series going and he's been a part of it, I think I've only seen him DNF once for sure, maybe twice.
Yeah, I think that's about right. Yeah.
And he's only sitting 8th in the championship right now, and he's got
Right, he's gonna make some leaps and bounds after this race. If he can even pull out like a P6 or P5, if there's a couple DNFs, I mean, that would be massive.
Yeah, absolutely.
For Baba Yaga.
He would definitely see him almost guaranteed into the top 5, depending on how tonight goes. So just got about 3 minutes left here in qualifying, and everyone's set a lap. All coming in, probably getting ready for their final flyers.
Looks like Lancey is gonna start up a lap here.
Looks that way, yeah. Williams looking to close down that gap to first in the championship. See, Villeneuve is going to be our first retirement. He's happy with P5. Feels confident there. Lancey had a bit of a moment there and kind of ruined his lap time. Just wonder if he's going to be able to make it back around again.
Well, so he probably has another 40 seconds or so on track, and then he would need to get around. So I think with all the annoyance of being in the pits, that's probably session over for him.
That may be. See, El Majacco letting a little bit of traffic go through. He's waiting for the last little bit of grip that he's going to be able to get off of this track, wanting to be one of the last guys going, it looks like. But due to where he's at, he's going to be starting his lap right about now. See if he's able to improve on a 111.1. Imagine we'll see. We might see him dip into the 110s.
Yellows, that looks like A-Dub.
Yeah, A-Dub driving slowly there on a invalidated lap. Not sure if he's got
Neve
fuel.
has gone purple through the first.
Yeah, Neeb's needing a big lap here if he wants to see himself move up. Just has not a whole lot of
And
difference
he's
in
lost
these lap
it.
times.
Oh man, he banked the wall out of the corner coming into the hairpin. So we'll see if he can salvage it here, but that must have lost him a lot of time.
Indeed it will have. You can see Jacko's coming up on the back of Neeb now, actually.
Jacko coming across the line.
He doesn't improve. Ooh. He split his time.
Yeah, that's what I saw. I was like,
what?
Lancey's up about 0.04 of a second, which could be the difference here. Oh, he gets it.
Is.
Wow. He made that all up, right? He made up about 1/10 of a second in the Wall of Champions corner.
That's amazing. With a 110.9. Going to be our fastest lap time. That was, yeah, I just cut into the last little bit of that and watched him make that up. It's an impressive time there.
It looks like Meeb is invalid here, so that would be lap over for him. Baba Yaga up about 1/10 of a second. Won't really do much as he's 2.3 down from not gravity.
He needs about a second, 9/10 of a second there to catch Villeneuve in 5th. So it looks like Villeneuve was pretty on point there with his strategy of retiring there. Was able to hold on to 5th as well as save a couple sets of tires.
Baba Yaga improves about, I think it was about
2 or 3 tenths.
2 or 3 tenths, yeah.
Yeah.
So good lap from him. I mean, pulling the gap closer to Villeneuve is going to be big for him.
And even just the confidence of an improved lap time during qualifying before heading into a race, I think can play a huge part.
Yeah.
In at least the beginning phases of your race. Let's see, Meeb. Maybe he did make it onto a flying lap. He's out of ERS. But oh no, he's finished as well. But it's gonna be... Looks like Forward's got himself a fan in the chat.
I just pulled it up. Oh my gosh.
Man, maybe someday I'll get some fans like that.
I
Uh,
know. He's my biggest supporter.
And there you have it. Lancey's going to be rounding out at starting on pole position there in the Williams with a 110.9, followed by Elma Jacko in the Aston with a 111.1. Williams and Aston are going head to head for that constructors battle, so expecting to see those two battling for most of the race. Starting third is going to be A-Dub in the Ferrari, followed by Not Gravity in the Red Bull there. And number 5 spot will be Villeneuve for the other Ferrari, and following the other Red Bull is Baba Yaga, Mr. Consistent. And then Meeb in the Mercedes wasn't able to set a very representative lap time, so looking to see him push his way through the field tonight. Just a small crop of drivers, so should be an interesting one.
I think we'll give him about 3 minutes here.
Yeah, usually everyone sets their final. Villeneuve says how many will finish. I'm gonna guess some. Don't want to put any pressure on anybody, but I do have expectations.
I don't know, man. I feel like it's hard to say. Like historically, I mean, I think a guy like Not Gravity, like he's very quick, he's done well, but I mean, I feel like generally speaking, in the past, he's DNF'd a good amount. But
Absolutely,
you
yeah.
know,
And one of the last times I raced against him, the only reason I was able to pick up a podium was thanks to his DNF. But he
typical Gabba fighting for scraps.
hey man, you leave me be.
Yeah, but I mean, I think aside from him, I really, you know, don't see any of these guys like DNFing by a crash per se. Maybe just if like they get bored and or like, yeah, I've had enough.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. Either get bored or maybe just lose focus for a second.
Right.
And I feel like at a place like Canada, it's not really somewhere you would like to lose focus.
The walls are definitely more intimidating than, they look.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah, focus is gonna be a hard part, but you know what helps with focus? Good old trusty Raise energy. Pick yourself up some of those, and you will be laser focused for hours. I promise, or I will give you something. But if you haven't already, check them out. Use code MWF1, I believe, and you can get yourself 15% off.
all right. These guys should be ready to go here. Do you follow basketball, Gabba?
Not at all. No.
Well, you know how the Milwaukee Bucks are pretty good, right?
I believe it.
They're losing 17-43 right now to the Charlotte Hornets.
So the Hornet, I know the Hornets
To
aren't
the
historically
Hornets.
good. Now that that's pretty
Watch,
funny.
just watch. This will be a total NBA moment. They'll just come back, They'll get
Yeah.
within like 15 points at half, and then they're
It'll
gonna
be,
win.
yeah, their classic dream team
Yeah.
from all those early 2000 movies.
All right, so let's talk the race. Who do we think is the favorite to win tonight?
Ooh, favorite to win.
Give me your top three podium. What's it gonna be?
I am definitely seeing a Lancey, Jacko, and I'm gonna say Gravity on the podium tonight.
Okay. Yeah, that's
Me,
man.
me fighting for that number 3 spot, maybe fourth.
Okay, I think I'm gonna go for something a little bit different here. I think I'm gonna go. I'm gonna take Meeb P1. I'm going to take Jacko P2, and I will take Lancey P3.
Hey, you know,
I think Meeb. I had a week race against Meeb here in Canada, and his pace when he can put together lap after lap, it is unbelievable. It's like nothing I've ever seen. So I gotta ride with what I know, the pace that I know, and I think Meeb can definitely come from behind and win this race.
all right, there you've heard it, chat. Anyone in chat, speaking of, want to give us their bold predictions? Oh, and getting challenged out to put some money down. It sounds like forward. So we got another
Why
vote
don't
there
you
for
bet on it
Meeb.
forward?
We got one,
All
two,
right, here we
three,
go.
four, five lights are on. This lights out and off we go, and we're going to be seeing here as Lancey gets away pretty well. Jacko not able to improve too much. Meeb making a jump off of the start. These guys, not a lot of cars, so pretty easy for them to stay clean and clear into turn one. See Jacko going side by side with A-Dub there for a second there. A-Dub having to back out for a moment. Meeb making up another place already, seeing himself up into fifth. He's not wasting any time here tonight. We got Gravity hot on the trails of A-Dub there. Looking to see if he's able to slip up the inside or force him a little bit wide somewhere. See the predicted strategy there, starting lap 21 for first stop, and then maybe on to a set of mediums after that, and going to ride you out to a set of softs towards the end, or if you're going for the 3-stop strategy. A bit more aggressive there. I might see that from some of the guys farther back, maybe Mead on a strategy like that. So far, first lap is looking pretty clean and clear, though. Not a whole
Yeah,
lot
I mean,
of
I
changing.
didn't see anything substantive. Looks like Lancey is holding the gap fairly nicely. The slipstream for Jacko is going to be pretty immense down this back straight while they don't have DRS.
Mm-hmm. He's able to make
But
up
other
a
than
tenth or
that,
two.
that's the main overtaking opportunity.
Yeah, it's either that or you got to slip up inside somebody. But I don't even think I saw anybody banging wheels on that start, so that was pretty impressive to see there.
Yeah, no, it was a great start. You know, coming out of turn one into turn two, it's so hard to keep it together, and it's pretty impressive to see them hanging in there, especially A-Dub and Jacko there, as A-Dub tried to hang around the outside.
Yeah,
Turn two.
it's pretty brave of him. That's not a move I like making, and I'm not so sure many other people would try making something happen there, especially turn one. Everyone's got a little bit more of a hero complex, though, so might have helped him out there in the end.
Looks like Lancey's already broken out
Oh,
of
wow.
DRS here.
Yeah, he's just working his way away very slowly. A-Dub is able to stay on the back of Jacko, though, pretty nicely. Looks like Jacko burning a little ERS, trying to stay within that second gap there, as DRS is going to be opening up this next lap. Villeneuve with the fastest lap there in the Ferrari. Back in 6th place, looking like he's on a bit of a hot charge to stay on the heels of Mead. Not going to be.
And I think if he can stick with this train they've got going here, like he's going to be in a really good position towards the end of this race when those soft runners have to change off.
I absolutely agree. If he can stay close and just ride in with their pit strategies, it could be huge for him to gain a couple spots at the end once tire wear will be an issue. So Jacko's just falling a little bit further back. Lancey's looking like he's having a nice little Sunday drive out there in front.
Now I was hanging out here on board with Vil, and he had a big snap coming out of the corner right before the hairpin. That's one of those corners, like there's so many of them on this track in particular where traction is just so hard to get exactly right. And, you know, one little fraction of a foot where you're not hitting the right apex, you can go flying right into the wall.
Absolutely. Just riding under gravity, he's gotten pretty close up next to that wall of champions there in this couple times. And once these soft tires start running off, these guys are going to have to be extra careful watching their traction levels coming around there. As I can't tell you how many times my races ended on that wall, and it's never a fun way to end the day. Meeb's been able to...
Lancey's just flying right now. He's pulling out probably a good half a second a lap, maybe.
Yeah, pretty close.
I mean, he's got a 2-second gap now.
And shout out to both Lancey and Jacko being on the mediums, while the rest of the midfield, or at least third and fourth, are going to be running those soft tires. So able to keep them behind as well is something impressive to be said.
Yeah, you know, I think that was definitely the right call by A-Dub and Gravity, kind of recognizing that, you know, the front runners are going to have their strategy, so we need to try something different. And as Meeb makes a move on Not Gravity here, he's up into 4th place. You know, it's going to be interesting to see how those soft runner strategy plays out here.
Absolutely. Give me 1 sec, I'll be right back.
Looks like A-Dub and Majako are going at here, wheel to wheel, coming out of turn 2. And Jacko manages to stay ahead.
So looking like Meeb is going to be wanting to make something happen down this back straight here. He's closing in on A-Dub pretty rapidly and seems to be having to let off a little bit sooner.
Getting so close to A-Dub there through the exit of that hairpin. He's got a nice run here.
I'm going to see if he's able to...
A-Dub making his car as wide as possible.
Sticks it up the outside. Going to see who backs out here. Nobody wants to race over this early, so Meeb's going to wisely back out, but he's going to be all over the back of him there, as A-Dub is also onto Jacko now.
We're about to go 3 wide. Nope.
Coming into turn 1, Meeb does get the move done on A-Dub and puts himself right up in, has to hit the brakes a little bit to avoid the rear end of Jacko there. A-Dub not wanting to let this one go, though, fighting his back as far as he can, and Gravity is right there behind him waiting to pick up the scraps. So impressive driving from these three to be able to, or four, to be able to stay this close to each other without making any contact or causing any sort of spins.
Yeah, no, super good decision making there by Meeb, and you know, playing his cards patiently and letting the whole thing play out where you know, A-Dub wasn't getting the greatest exits, so you know, he was able to jump right in, pounce on the opportunity.
And while all this has been going on, Villeneuve is still silently there in the back, staying just within that DRS train at the moment. So if he can keep this going for the next 10-15 laps, he's going to see a massive improvement on his race outcome by the end, I bet you.
Yeah, and he's really profited from all this fighting and DRS train, and
he's looking to make a move
really,
on Jacko.
You just need to stay right in there.
Absolutely.
Anything can happen when you're that close to a DRS train.
Even
it does not gravity.
Oh man. We're getting nice and feisty. A-Dub fighting that one back hard. Did not want to give that up.
A little bit shaky there from gravity, but overall, fairly clean move.
The nice thing is Meeb is also on the same strategy as the front two runners. So getting all of those overtakes done when he did was very key to his strategy. So good for him to really work through the field without having to worry about tire strategy just yet. Was able to still put some pressure on Jacko. It looks like he's doing just that.
Yeah, and that's, that's a lot of the premise of the league, is being patient and waiting for those opportunities to get in there and make an overtake. But, it kind of takes a level up when you get to a track like Canada where, it's so hard to find those gaps and so hard to do it cleanly. And all these guys have been doing a really good job so far, just making sure their battles are clean and tidy. So
yeah, and speaking of clean, Meeb just made a very nice overtake on Jacko for the number 2 spot and sets the fastest lap with a 1:14.6. Made that one look super easy. It didn't look like Jacko really wanted to fight it back too much at this point. Maybe realizing Meeb's faster here and wants to just kind of ride his DRS if he can at all.
And now, like I said, the hunt is on for me. He's got about 2.7 gap up to Lancey.
And he's already closed it down 3/10 since you started that sentence. Yeah, man is on a mission for sure. Not Gravity is falling back just a hair now from Jacko, but still within that DRS window for sure. Villeneuve as well. Baba Yaga is falling back almost about 10 seconds already, but at this point, if he finishes 7th, he's going to see himself moved up in the 4th or 5th spot in the championship standings. Lancey's still out in front, got a healthy amount of ERS as well, just kind of setting pace, making sure he's putting in consistent lap times, probably not wanting to stretch too much on those tires.
Another fastest lap from Meeb. He's cut down about a second on this last lap up to Lancey.
That is impressive to see. Wow. Villeneuve is going to be the first to receive a penalty, 3 seconds for multiple track violations. So at the moment, it's going to be perfectly fine, but if he starts collecting some more of those penalties, it could see some position changes later on. As well as with the rest of this midfield, I haven't noticed anybody else going too far off track and picking up any warnings, so...
Yeah, and I mean, that's, no hate to Bill, but I mean, that's really just one of the cornerstone aspects of racing in the league is minimizing those penalties, because, when you get into, late race scenarios, you get a late safety car, you get strategies coming together at the end, those time penalties just kill you, and it makes you feel bad, because if I would have just done things a little bit differently, I probably could have had a better result. But I think with this small of a group and considering the field spread towards the end, I mean it's probably not going to be too big of a deal.
Yeah, absolutely. You're going to see A-Dub now starting to fall back a little bit there in the Ferrari. He is teetering pretty close to the edge. Not Gravity is pushing pretty hard now to get up onto Jacko. Jacko's now 3 seconds behind Meeb, who is able to cut down his gap by a couple seconds already.
Yeah, and you got to wonder if, now Jacko's thinking, where do I go with the strategy? Do I try and do something maybe a little bit funkier? I mean, it's going to be difficult. You're kind of going to be boxed in a little bit more with this size of a lobby. Less safety cars, less chances to go in and change tires. So, he's going to have to really be wise about where he picks and chooses his strategy for the rest of the race.
Absolutely, yeah. One nice thing, though, is if we do get a safety car, we see some people pit on alternate strategies, almost guaranteed they'll be able to come out into clear track and be able to push to their heart's content without having to worry about too much traffic. And if there even is any, it'll be a lot easier for these guys to kind of clear that.
Yeah, man, those front runners, Lancey and Meeb, they are just on an island of their own right now.
They really are.
Pace is outstanding, and looks like Lancey's been able to step it up in the last lap or two, really holding that gap to me, fighting to, keep him out of DRS.
He is, yeah. I've noticed Meeb's been stuck on that 1.5 second gap there for most of this lap, actually. He's gone about a tenth slower this lap, so I'm not sure if just had a bad corner might have thrown him off a little bit, but looks like he is going to have that straight line speed advantage as well. Gravity is just now falling out of us that second gap with Jacko, so he didn't get DRS that last time, but gets it opened up now. That allowed A-Dub to close down quite a bit as well. And Villeneuve is starting to fall off the pace from these 2 or 3. Baba Yaga still hanging out in the back, putting in consistent times. Looks like he's got a pretty good control of his car. Haven't seen him get any sideways action, get any sort of problems with his driving line and style here. So good for him at this point in the race.
Yeah, no, I mean he's really on pace with how he's done historically, but that's, again, like I've said time and time again, that's how you're successful in this league is, even when there's nobody within a mile of you, you still have to be consistent, and you never know what could happen in the long run.
Absolutely. And Meeb is now within a second window of Lancey up front, so he's going to be having DRS next time around. Didn't catch it this last little bit of the lap, but we'll have it continuing forward. And to come back to Baba Yaga, yeah, he's, even since between this season and last season, his driving has completely leveled up, and he's a lot smoother with his turning, and
Yeah, no, and even dealing with, like, in those back marker situations, or somebody comes out in the pits where they're 100% quicker, like, he's been one of, if not the most respectful and consistent drivers on the grid.
Absolutely. He's the kind of guy who will hold you up, but if you can make a fair move happen, he'll let it happen. But excited to see how he grows in this league too. Love to see him get
Baba
up on the
Yaga's
podium.
the type of guy that if you ask him to go and hang out at dinner or something, he's coming to dinner. He's not canceling it 10 minutes before. He's coming to dinner.
He's going to be there 15 minutes early probably, and he's going to bring flowers for your mom.
Exactly. Yeah. That's the type of guy I think Baba Yaga is.
Yes, definitely would not hesitate to invite him to Thanksgiving next year. You can see the field stretching out a bit here. Not Gravity is still within DRS of Jacko, but A-Dub has since fallen back to a 1.8 second gap now, and Villeneuve has closed back in on A-Dub there, so I think A-Dub might have had a little bit of a moment there. That's allowing Villeneuve to get back into this DRS when they come down to the straight. So as you can see, those two Ferraris do look nice racing side by side. Must be said.
And I mean, our viewers probably right now are thinking Lancey's dead in the water, he's going to be done after Mead makes his next move. Look at the ERS. Lancey's got 76% still left, incredible. And Mead has 20%. That just proves, with a guy like Mead who's got that type of pace, for Lancey to be able to keep that up without dumping an entire battery, that says enough in itself, that he's
Absolutely.
able to keep pace like that.
Yeah, I know Lancey is definitely one of the faster drivers, and I've seen Meeb put in some dominant performances, and I think I've seen a little bit of a lack of stamina almost between Meeb. He's been able to get quick wins, but I don't think I've seen him hold the lead for a majority of a late race, so I'm excited to see how this plays out for him here today. If he's able to get across first.
Oh, and Lancey had a big slip there.
He gets right up and behind Meeb there. See, almost ran into the back of him. Had to let off heavily there.
Yeah, and that was fair play by Meeb to try not to profit off that when, you know, that was in a pretty iffy part of the track there.
Yeah, absolutely. So may see Meeb's confidence shaken a little bit here for in the next couple corners as he kind of regains the confidence of his car. So Meeb is going to probably be wanting to make something happen within these next couple corners, see if he's able to close down at all here. And Lancey's still not burning any of that ERS, just pure pace holding that. So that's impressive by him.
Right, and they know, you know, we've got a 6.5 second gap to Jacko, right? So it's like let's work together and hold the gap as Gravity's now gone into the pits.
Absolutely, yeah, we can see him. I saw he had a violation of track warnings there. He's going to be fitting the soft tire. So see what he's got over this next stint if he's going to be.
No, he's got the mediums.
Does he have medium? Oh, I guess it is medium.
Yeah.
Just showed up soft for a second there on my screen. Apologies. And Villeneuve with another time penalty there. It's going to put him at 6 seconds worth of penalties. With A-Dub right there behind him. I wonder if they're going to... I'm not sure if anyone's going to party or not, but if they are, I would imagine A-Dub is going to be asking to get by if he's faster. And Meeb still...
Yeah, I think Lancey and Meeb, or Lancey and Jacko and A-Dub would probably be on party, but it's just a guess.
Yeah, it's fair play. Can't imagine what it'd be like sitting in a party chat with some of these guys if you were to go sideways flying into them. Can't imagine that would go over too well.
Yeah, probably not. You want to drive safely like that, so you just don't have to go back and forth in the party chats.
You see A-Dub now coming into the pits. Coming in a little bit earlier. His pit strategy was saying around lap 21, so maybe these guys just burned out their tires a little bit. But A-Dub and the Ferrari, they're going to be taking on that set of mediums. And that's going to allow Not Gravity to slip by as well. We're going to have him not too far behind. So Gravity going to be wanting to make a move happen here pretty soon. Meeb is still staying within 3/10 of Lancey there, just not able to get that gap closed on the back straights here and unable to make anything happen anywhere else. So I bet it's a little bit frustrating for him at this point, but I'm sure he knows he's got to carefully measure this and make sure it's pristine perfect, otherwise it could end both of their races early.
This looks like the moment for me.
It is, gets right up next to the wall.
So close.
No hesitation from him there.
Wow.
It makes that move stick. Fair play to Meeb for making that one work. Lancey did not make that easy for him. And looking to be fighting back over the next little bit here. He's not going to want to let Meeb get too far ahead, because if he is able to produce more laps like he was earlier, we could be in for a pretty far front finish from him.
Oh, and Lancey's binned it.
Clip the curb and goes a little bit sideways. He is going to have a bit of time, though.
He needs to be careful here. Jacko
coming in, slowing down nicely, sees those yellow flags, so doesn't come around the corner blindly. And that is going to spell disaster for Lancey's day, though, as he's now going to be 8 seconds behind, and his rear tires are going to be mighty warm. And Elma Jacko, right on the tail end of that, is going to be pretty happy with that, putting him back up into a fight for a top 2 finish here.
Man, what a bummer for Lancey, man. He was flying on those medium tires, and I think he just caught a bit of dirty air there and bit the dust.
It looked like, from my perspective, it looked like he went a little bit wide onto one of those curbs there and just had it downshifted at the wrong time, and his tires were just loose at that point.
That's a corner where you don't really see a whole lot of spins. You see people like hitting the wall on exit maybe, but
But impressive job from him to, already be able to push back that gap. Jacko was able to get DRS on that point there, but not sure he's going to be able to hold on to it with how Lancey's been driving already. And yeah, Jinx, that's a good point. With a good pit strategy here, Lancey could see himself back up As I imagine Meeb is going to be putting in pretty consistent lap times still. And by the time anyone catches him, he's going to have a fair amount of ERS to play with as well. Chaco is closing down that gap by a couple tenths. Able to make some good inroads there. That straight line speed on Lancey.
Yeah, and that gap, I mean, just looking at it from Meeb to Lancey, it's like every corner they go through, it's just growing and growing. And maybe not through turn 2, turn 3 there, but gotta wonder if Meeb is running a, I haven't played this game in so long, like a higher speed
setup.
Yeah, I'm totally blanking.
Yeah, he might have some.
Just proves how much I know about this game nowadays.
That would be lower wing angles. Yeah, that sounds right. I'm gonna see a yellow flag.
We got yellows.
Who do we have out?
Oh, looks like
front wing.
I think that's the Red Bull. Or
yeah, Villeneuve.
Oh yeah, was that Villeneuve? Oh yep, that's Villeneuve.
So not sure what happened there. Might have gone a little bit wide and lost it there, but that'd be a VSC. And we're gonna see
Meeb's going in here.
Pitting. See what he's running. He's going for the hard tires.
Lancey goes in as well, and so does Jacko. Oh, and that's a drive-through for Lancey. Oh my gosh.
No. Speeding under the safety car, that is unfortunate.
Do we know if this is this a VSC, right?
Yeah. So you're gonna see there the top 4 are gonna be coming into the pits as Villeneuve is gonna be needing a front wing. So he's
looks like hards for Meeb, mediums for Lancey, softs for Jacko.
So nice of them to give us a good mix there. And to see A-Dub slide backing up into that number 4 spot as Villeneuve is going to be coming out just behind him on a set of soft tires. Gravity's going to slide into the pits as well. It's nearing the time for those pit strategies anyway. Baba Yaga continues on his set of mediums though. So interesting to see how this restart goes for these guys. Meeb is going to have a slight disadvantage at first over those soft and mediums, but looking like we're back under green flags here, so he's got himself 7 seconds to work with. I doubt he's going to lose too much of that.
Yeah, and Lancey, it would probably be wise for him to just get this over with and go in now to just minimize the damage.
Yeah, so give him a lot more time to cut back against that. And that would see him pretty much drop down to P4, P5. As he's going to keep going though for the moment.
It looks like he is cutting down that gap to me fairly quickly.
Yeah.
But, you know, obviously there's only so much you can do with a drive-through.
Yeah, might be one to put in as much work as he can for a minute, and then I would imagine pitting the next 2 laps.
Yeah, you know, maybe he's just looking on his MFD, seeing, you know, if he can come out a little bit higher, you know, based on his pace, which he's been doing really well today, it could be worth it to extend and not go in.
So if you don't pit, is that just is that a 5 or is that a disqualification?
Well, I think you probably get disqualified.
Yeah,
I think.
I remember now.
So he's gonna go in now.
He's rocking a mighty fine looking helmet, I must say. Let's see, A-Dub is going to be making his way past him. See if Villeneuve is able to do the same. Looking like it's going to be close, but maybe not.
Yeah, I think
Lancey's cleared. I see Baba Yaga coming into the pits now on his strategy. Going to be going for another set of mediums. Smeeb gets a little bit close to going off the track there, but didn't pick up a warning for it. Didn't look like. So he's holding that gap at 7.8 seconds over Jacko. Not able to really cut into it too much right now. You know, I think you may have been right on this one. Forward meet is looking like if he can extend this gap just a little bit more. I think if he gets a comfortable 9-second gap, nothing short of a spin for him. It's not gravity, picks up another time penalty.
Yeah, and I'd be willing to bet that, you know, when in theory you probably, and Lancey's got a 3-second time penalty there,
no.
That is going to hurt. But, you know, if Meeb can hold these hards out for as long as he can, I would not be surprised if he makes a stop for the end at the end and goes on the softs.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking over at penalties, you'll see Lancey's on 3 seconds, Villeneuve and Not Gravity both on 6 seconds worth of time penalties. So as it stands, not going to change anything in the final outcome. I see a couple guys, Villeneuve and Jacko on the softs, Meeb on hards, everyone else running medium.
Meeb with the fastest lap on the hards. Oh my gosh.
Meeb also in position now for the hard charger bonus. I'm not sure. Do we have that one? That bonus point for endurance?
Yeah, so we have extra point for pole position, we have an extra point for hard charger, and then we have an extra point for fastest lap.
Yeah,
so three extra points will be handed out tonight.
Looks like right now 2 of them are currently in the hands of Meeb as well. So he'll be happy to profit from that come finish time.
Yeah, so let's talk about the standings quick. So kind of as it stands now, with all of like our first rounds of strategies coming out, Meeb's going to be edging up a little bit closer to Jacko now. I think what's the difference between first and second? So it's 5 points. So I think with him getting hard charger and then fastest lap, he's going to be about 2 points clear of Jacko in the driver's standings. So that's big for me. He deserves to be up towards the top.
Absolutely.
But guys like Lancey, he's in P2 right now, 49 points. He'll take a bit of a hit there.
Yeah, absolutely, because he's tied with Jacko right now, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, believe Meeb will jump up to P2 then, because Lancey and Jacko would both be behind him, so
that would be interesting to see from the changing in the standings there. I'm sure Williams are going to be wanting to have a 1-2 finish in the championship. And we are quickly running out of races here. There's something about this endurance series. You have to make every lap count, as you're going to see Lancey there put in the new fastest lap of the race. So he's on the hunt now as well, able to close down that gap by about half a second over these last couple laps too.
Oh, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think because Scornsey didn't make it to this race, Meeb is going to be getting 27 points from this event, so he would then be tied with Scornsey for first place after 4 rounds. So
he's getting 27, you said, right?
I believe so, because it's 25 plus the 2 points.
If he gets fastest lap, yes.
Lancey, who is on pole? Lancey?
Yeah, Lancey was on pole, and Lancey also has fastest lap right now. But yeah, if he's able to get that point back, he would be tied for the lead, which would not be what Scornsey would want to come back to see for sure. See how Lancey is cutting down that gap slowly and slower and slower. But
yeah, and it looks like correct me if I'm wrong again, but I think Meeb and Jacko, the gap there's been staying fairly consistent.
It has been, yeah.
Yeah.
Jacko hasn't been able to make too much of an indent onto Meeb with the softer tires. So it looked like Meeb had probably had the right strategy call there to take the hards with his pace.
Yeah, and it looks like really the only people that are close on track are Lancey and A-Dub.
Yeah, and Lancey's been closing down. He closed down half a second in that last lap.
Yeah, I mean, he's got 4 lap fresher tires, so you'd expect that this move should be getting done pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But Lancey really just needs to focus on, making it as clean and effortless as possible so he can just keep chipping away at that gap of the leaders.
Absolutely, and he does have that 3-second time penalty to worry about as well, which I'm sure A-Dub is going to be watching and hoping and praying he can stay out ahead long enough.
See, Lancey does pick up DRS here, so he'll be cutting that gap probably down to
just about half a second.
2-3 tenths of a second, maybe. A little less than that.
And if he's able to keep gaining like he has been, he'll be right there by the next DRS zone. I see a yellow flag there, as that's going to be not gravity spinning around at the corner of turn 2. Gets going again. Doesn't look like he has any front wing damage. So might have just lost a little bit there. I see Lancey now about to come into DRS window opportunities. Not able to really close down that gap at all.
Oh, gravity's gone into the wall.
I wondered if he might saw him sliding a bit. Looks like his front wing's still okay though. Maybe these
Yeah, I
walls
didn't
are...
see any substantial damage there.
So might have some cooked tires, but at least he's not going to have to pit for front wing. I see Gravity retire from this race. Came back to the pits and decided that was enough, I guess.
There goes your prediction.
Hey, I said
It's hard
some.
to say.
I didn't say all. I said some. Meeb with a 3-second time penalty, though.
Oh,
So
man.
that could affect things later in the race. It's not going to do anything to him right now, as he's got a 10-second gap, able to extend over Jacko. Might be pushing a little bit harder now.
Yeah, I mean, I think regardless, you know, really the only thing that could foil this race for me is a spin, which does not happen very often over in the Meeb household, and B, safety car, very very late safety car.
And even then, that's only
But
going to be a challenge and not necessarily throw his race away at his
yeah,
current pace.
and obviously at this point, you don't see too many of these guys, you know, prone to producing safety cars.
No. At least not on their own volition, and seeing as how we don't got much going on besides Lancey and A-Dub, I doubt we'll see any action that could warrant a safety car anyway. As Lancey is a bit closer this lap. He's knocked the gap down to 3/10, so he might be able to make something happen here. Gets a nice rotation through the corner and is able to gain a little bit. Gets a little bit loose though. He's riding in that slipstream a bit, looking like he wants to try to force a little bit onto A-Dub, but it doesn't make anything happen. And A-Dub is going to hold on for another lap.
Yeah, and you gotta expect Lancey to be ready to pounce here when that back straight comes. Maybe even in turn one if you can't get it done there. But I think now is probably the time to do it. Is he's losing a bit of time staying behind him.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he knows that too. He hasn't been able to get a good enough advantage coming out of this chicane to really make something happen towards turn one. He's hopping out of the slipstream pretty early on A-Dub.
Yeah, I think it could just be, you know, precaution. You don't want to misjudge where the other person's going to brake, so he doesn't want to go sailing into the back of him.
Mm-hmm.
I know I'm pretty notorious to do that.
Oh yeah, I do that a lot as well, especially here. And it's not really a corner I like following drivers into at all, if I can. Lancey gets a nice rotation through this first sector, though, on some of these corners. Wonder if A-Dub's starting to struggle a little bit on those tires, as they would be nearing the end of their life. Just a little bit sooner than Lancey's will.
Man, it's got a great exit there. I think this is the moment.
There it comes. Gonna stick it right up alongside, not quite as close as me to the wall, but still getting up nice and close to it there. Comes up alongside and is ahead. Ended up having to back off
Perfectly
just a little
executed
bit.
there.
Could not have been done better there by Lancey. So beautiful racing by the pair of them over these few laps, and I'm sure this battle is going to continue for a while, but so far these guys have all been pretty clean and consistent. Only seen a couple spins from a couple of these drivers so far. I believe it was A-Dub who had a spin and went in for a wing replacement, or was that Villeneuve?
That was Villeneuve.
That was Villeneuve, yeah.
All right, Gab, are you ready for our halfway point trivia question?
What is tonight's question?
Okay. I've gotten asked this question multiple interviews.
All right. I'm scared.
Why are manhole covers round?
I do not know.
Take a guess. What do you think?
The only thing
Googling vigorously.
No, the only thing coming to mind is I don't know how kid friendly it is for the stream.
Kid friendly. What?
I have no idea why are
you think people are gonna pull them out of the ground and start using them as weapons or something?
Well, no. Why? You know, quite frankly, I'm not sure.
Okay, well, if nobody in chat has anything to say, manhole covers are round. Lancey picks up a 3-second time penalty, which is not helping his case.
Not at all.
Manhole covers are round because they're the strongest geometric shape you can put in the ground that'll hold the weight without falling through. And if you were to say use like a square or rectangle or something like that, if you were to hold it diagonally over the hole, it could fall right through into the sewer.
You know, so, that's a good point. So are you ready for the halfway point trivia now that we're past the halfway point?
Okay, yeah, I'm ready.
What is the plural of platypus?
Is it platypi?
No, it is just platypus.
Okay, so it was a trick question. Wow.
Maybe slightly.
Great trivia host you are.
I'm just helping you figure out. Later on in life, maybe somebody's going to ask you, or you're going to see a bunch of platypus, and you're not going to want to have the embarrassment of calling it the wrong thing. Right?
I've never even seen a platypus before.
That's fair. I don't think they
Besides
really
on
exist.
Phineas and Ferb.
That's the best one, but outside of that show, I'm not so sure they really exist. There are also, if you see a group of them, it's called a pandemonium for some freaking reason. And this is what I spent my hour doing last night at 2 a.m. when I couldn't sleep. So I figured the rest of the world.
Figuring out what the plural of platypus is?
Yeah, TikTok's got a whole realm of little rabbit holes to follow, so stay off the internet, kids.
Alright, well, Lancey's closing in this gap. And this is not looking good for my prediction, but I think Jacko's going to be in for a pit stop here probably in the next 1 to 3 laps, depending on how far he wants to go.
I would agree, yeah, because I was saying pit strategy was about 21, 22 laps for a set of mediums. So I would imagine he's going to be needing to come in soon. A-Dub is starting to fall back from Lancey a little bit. Not sure if Lancey's just been pushing like that much crazier.
I think he's just got slightly older tires, A-Dub.
Yeah, that has probably played a portion into it as well. Lancey's also displaying a little bit of fuel saving while he's closing in this gap. So impressive from him to still be able to pull that in, but he is going to have to get 6 seconds off of A-Dub rather quickly. We've got just 30 laps left to go now.
Yeah, you know, I'm really curious to see. I mean, I think the obvious call for Jacko here is to go hard to the end.
Yeah.
Lancey, I'm not quite so sure. You know, I think he could probably make it another, what, 10, 15 laps and then go soft? I'm not sure.
Yeah. If he could stretch another 10 laps, he could definitely pull off soft, I think, seeing how Jacko and Phil are still running softs, as we see Lancey
Jacko's
getting
gone
close
a bit
to
wide
Jacko
there.
See, maybe room for an overtake. Looks like we are getting treated to one here, as you can just see Lancey just slide right around Jacko, not able to do too much there.
Yeah, and just going back to the penalties, we got Meeb at 3 seconds and Lancey at 6 seconds. So, really, Lancey's job now is to just keep as consistent a pace as possible and pull out that gap.
Absolutely, and Jacko's going to be trying to hold on to that, I would imagine, to try to ride that DRS train towards the front, but he's already fallen back 1.5 seconds in just a couple corners. I think he may be nearing the end of the lifespan of that soft tires.
You know, Gab, I was thinking about it. Maybe tonight we should just do a little Friday night special, and we have all 6 of our guys, whoever wants to come. Obviously, we have them all for post-race interviews.
You know, I absolutely love this idea.
We'll try and keep it, you know, as short as possible, but I think, you know, at this small group, it's like, why exclude people, you know?
Exactly, yeah. It's nice to mix it up. Plus, I've been wanting to interview Baba Yaga for quite a while.
Me too. Me too. I wanna invite him to Christmas next year.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but I just feel like he has profound wisdom in a lot of different areas, you know?
Yeah, I know.
And maybe it's it might be his Twitch username has something to do with fisherman, and I have never met a fisherman who wasn't wise. So
that's a valid point.
That's where I'm gonna stake that claim.
Okay, he's got blue flags here for Baba Yaga. See if he gives Lancey a nice little tow here. Oh, he just ducks out of the way there.
That's awfully, once again, awfully kind to him. You see Villeneuve now spotting a set of medium tires.
Yeah, I think that's a great strategy call there from Villeneuve. You know, he's going to be able to take those to the end.
Yeah, he could take those easily to the end, or if we had a late safety car, he'd be in a prime position to benefit from a set of softs as well.
I think anywhere probably within about 5-6 laps from now, I mean, it's going to be softs to the end.
And the A-Dub back within a second of Jacko now, bouncing in and out. So Jacko getting a little squirrely in the rear end, coming out of these corners. As both of them are going to be rapidly approaching Baba Yaga, who's currently going to see himself, if he finishes, Meeb with a new fastest lap, 113.7. We'll come back to that in a second. But Baba Yaga, if he finishes where he is currently, that's going to see him move up a couple spots in the driving championship to P6 at the moment. And speaking of drivers' championships, with me regaining that fastest lap, he is going to be tied with our championship leader, Skrenzy, who's not making an appearance here tonight. This Jacko is coming under a little bit of threat from A-Dub, who's able to close in massively on that DRS stretch and coming around some of these corners, seeming to have a lot more grip than Jacko at this phase. Jacko may be borrowing a little bit of time from those tires he has there. Hopefully it doesn't bite him in the butt. We'll have to see how that plays out over the next few laps. Like Adam is thinking about making a move into the hairpin, but thinks better of it. Be a lot easier to get done on this straight here. But Jacko gets a very great exit out of that corner compared to A-Dub and is able to stretch that lead back a little bit. So A-Dub may have to wait for another lap around.
Yeah, and Jacko's really stretching these tires now, and you know, I think that at this point, you know, you really just do not want to get overtaken by A-Dub. You want to try and keep him at bay as long as you can, and then hit the pits.
Absolutely, because I believe A-Dub's going to have to pit again as well, so if he can hamper him a bit, I'm sure he'd enjoy that until they are both on level playing field as far as tires. And I guarantee you at that point, Jacko's going to have a trick or two up his sleeve for A-Dub. I've seen him pull off some crazy overtakes in the past, and it's no stranger for making a move happen.
You know that A-Dub plays college football, right?
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, he plays. He's a. If he's listening to this and I get it wrong, I'm sorry, but I'm pretty sure he's a defensive tackle at Davidson.
Oh, very nice. Sweet.
Yeah, so like him taking time out of his busy schedule to make it to the 100% race.
And not only that, but
absolute legend.
Putting a decent performance as well for probably minimal practice. Yeah, that's an impressive feat. We saw Baba Yaga get out of the way of those two there. They finally caught up to the back of him. A-Dub fallen back a little bit, but Jacko is still sliding around through most corners now. So I feel like it's only a matter of time until this overtake happens. He gets up pretty close, looking like he wants to go side by side here. Gonna come down to late braking on his hairpin, I think. You're gonna see Jacko put his car extremely wide, but that's gonna allow A-Dub to try to cut back inside. Jacko does a great job defending there. That was a brilliant defensive move there from Jacko to hold on to that position there.
That was a good idea there by A-Dub. I think he can get this move done with enough room. Might have taken inside line, and he goes into the pits.
Both of them dive into the pits.
Wow. Unbelievable.
So,
what just happened? I thought there was going to be a massive crash there. Cause
I did too.
Jacko was going to be turning in. Oh, man.
Neeb with another 3-second time penalty. But A-Dub and Jacko racing to be the first into the pits there. That could have gotten crucial. Dicey. But yeah, that could have been very scary for both of these guys.
And now, you know, it's a 1v1. Who's going to have the better pace to the end? Who's going to be able to preserve their tires the longest? I mean, this is going to be fun to watch to the very end.
Absolutely.
And other than that, I mean, everyone else is probably as far spread out as they possibly could be.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, we're seeing almost 20-second gaps across the board, if not more. So really the battle just comes down to this final podium spot here. Jacko is going to have the ERS advantage at the moment as well.
Yeah, and I imagine, like, when we talk to the drivers after the race, like, I kind of have a feeling that they're going to say this was probably one of the harder races of the season, because it's like everyone is just so far spread away from you, and it's like it's so hard to see, you know, if my strategy is going to work better than theirs, you know, are they going to be, you know, a second ahead of me, second behind me? Like, it's kind of more daunting when you feel like you're just the only one on the track and you can't really gauge, you know, how well you're doing throughout the entirety of the race.
Yeah, and I think it plays another part in the fact of how easy it could be to get your strategy completely wrong with so few drivers as well.
Right, yeah, and it's definitely harder to keep your focus too when you know, you're a guy like Lancey who has a 24-second gap to the car ahead.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
it's got to be tough to do that, but, you know, he has to keep in mind, especially right now, you know, it's so important to hold that gap to A-Dub, because you're going to go and pit, and that's going to be a whole new battle for you when you get on those softs.
See if Jack was able to cut down at all. It looks like he gets a pretty decent exit out of this corner, closes in a couple tenths already. Now pops open that DRS and is slowly gaining, not looking like he's in any hurry. He's going to have about 20 laps left to make something happen, so maybe not the best strategy to try to just make it happen right away.
Yeah, no, I mean, if I'm Jacko, like, you know, you really just got to bide your time, you know, hold your gap, keep DRS, do all the right things, keep the pressure on, and it's like one little slip up out of that hairpin or into the first DRS zone, like, it's, you know,
Yeah.
it's your battle to fight.
Jacko is consistent, but I'm just not sure that he's got enough pace for A-Dub right now. So A-Dub with a bit of a star-studded performance here. A-Dub with the new fastest lap, or 113.5. Looking to make some headways here. And Meeb is still increasing his gap out front.
Yeah, I mean those medium tires have got to be getting to a point where you know, they're probably a little bit slower. They probably crossed over where the hards are now the quicker tire. And you know, I think in Lancey's situation, it may be better to pit sooner rather than later. And that looks like
Villeneuve's another spin there.
Be careful here. Nicely done.
See Meeb slip on through.
And there's the first penalty for Baba Yaga. Unbelievable.
See, take a look at everybody else's penalties. Meeb on 6 seconds, as well as Lancey and Villeneuve, and then just Baba Yaga on 3 seconds. So, might be an issue for Lancey later. We're not so sure about Meeb. He's got to have to pit again. There's no way he can stretch another 17 laps on those hards, do you think? Really?
Oh, you're saying he could go hards at the end? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, do you think Meeb could? As
Lancey just went in. You know, he's going to have, what, a 43-second gap to A-Dub? Something like that. Or I guess Lancey will probably... Ooh, this is going to be close coming out of the pits here.
It really is. You see, yeah, they are just going to sneak right up alongside of him. Lancey comes out right behind, though, which is on a set of soft tires, so...
Yeah. This is going to be hard for Lancey, because...
Yeah. He does have a mountain to climb, but we have seen him overcome some pretty interesting challenges in the past.
He's gotta put some real pressure on Jacko here, force him deep, try and, like, you know, get him off balance a little bit so he can make a move. It's not going to be done strictly by DRS or things like that. He's really got to be on his game to get those overtakes done and make a point. Where if you're in Majako's position, you know, you really have to do everything you can and not get, you know, persuaded by those things and
Absolutely.
do the best defending you can. Because if they can make it another 10 laps or so with Lancey ahead, then they're going to be set up really well because those mediums will start to take over and be quicker.
Yeah, absolutely. And Jacko's probably going to want to get A-Dub in between the two of them, between him and Lancey, to give him a little bit of a buffer almost from those, away from those soft tires. As you can see here, Lancey's just able to get so much more grip through that corner and get right up on Jacko. Lap 55 now of 70, so we are kind of closing down a bit, but this midfield has consistently been battling as Lancey's going to go wheel to wheel with Jacko here coming up into the hairpin. Lancey's up ahead at the moment, but Jacko goes a little bit later on the brakes there, gets a little bit deep, still side by side. Lancey is going to come out on top.
That's exactly what Lancey wanted to do right there.
Absolutely beautiful.
Very smart by Lancey.
That's what he needed to do there, and is going to get that ERS advantage over Jacko as well. Now Lancey's just going to be looking to stretch as far as he can.
What just happened?
So we got a safety car as Lancey's
Lancey, that was
driving
Lancey.
super slow. Is it going to be a virtual safety car for us here?
No, that's full safety car. Oh boy.
So we may have
Here we go, Gabba. Here we
quite
go.
a show.
This is a shakeup now. Yeah, it looks like Lancey just got loose out of that corner. I don't know what corner that is.
I didn't
think it was
see.
right before the DRS zone on the in sector 2.
So this is going to be a bit interesting. We're going to see Jacko and Lancey both into the pits naturally. See Jacko going for a set of soft tires there, coming out just as Lancey's going in. Curious if we're going to see everybody pit or not.
Yeah, I think Villeneuve and Baba Yaga will certainly come in.
Yeah, Baba Yaga's into the pits now.
Looks like Villeneuve's decided to stay out.
So going to see Meeb on a fresh set of mediums there. Looking like he doesn't want to risk anything.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I was talking about earlier, you know, like guys like Villeneuve, it's like, and even Baba Yaga, like if they would have done things a little bit differently from the beginning to not get those penalties and not rack up those warnings, like they could actually be in a real position to pick off Lancey or even Jacko off the start.
Absolutely.
You know, and it's like Lancey's sitting here with a 6-second time penalty, and you know, they could have done it, but
yeah, and that's
guys like A-Dub and Jacko are going to be in a great position right now to
absolutely
fight for the win.
Because right now we're seeing, with Meeb on 6 seconds worth of penalties too. All A-Dub and Jacko really need to do is either keep him behind or stay within that 6-second gap, and you know, you could, even if A-Dub or Jacko were to mess up and get a penalty here, you could win this race from P3 potentially.
Right, exactly, yeah. We'll have to ask A-Dub and Jacko what kind of their situation was with warnings.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think we'll probably have one, maybe 2 more laps under safety car.
Yeah, what? I'm not sure. Yeah, they should catch up by this lap.
Yeah, I think so. They should catch up a bunch on the straight here.
Which is not what Meeb's going to be wanting to see, I know.
It looks like Lancey went in. Some softs.
Oh, yeah, he did.
Which, you know, at this point,
why not?
Probably the right call to do.
Yeah.
And Meeb's on the mediums. Forget you not. So.
Yeah, he will have a slight disadvantage, but I'm sure.
I don't know. I just don't know about that one. Maybe, like, I'm wondering if he like didn't have any new softs left, or if he didn't there's a glitch or something, but I'm not sure that's the right call, because with 12 laps to go, those softs are still going to be dominant on the mediums by the end of the race.
Yes,
So those guys are going to be gaining on you for the next 12 laps. So it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, it'll be a battle. As we see, the safety car is going to be coming in this lap now, so we are going to be getting ready to go. And yeah, I think all of our predictions are kind of getting blown out of the water right now. So everyone's going to be warming up their tires their last little bit. A-Dub is going to be ready to go there for that number 2 spot, wanting to make the most use out of his tires as he can. You know that everyone's topped off their ERS as well. As A-Dub is right on the back of me right now.
Great jump.
Looking like he wants to send it up the inside. This is going to be a tough one. They bang wheels. Does well to save that. That was a great save there, and they right back to racing each other. They did not skip a beat.
That was a message sent by A-Dub there that he's telling me that I'm not putting up with any of this 30-second gaps anymore.
He is not scared to make a move happen there, and he wants this win, you can see. Didn't see any other changes on the start position-wise. All these guys are going to be running pretty close together on those soft tires. It's going to come down to just pure race pace coming around some of these corners.
And A-Dub is using that ERS so aggressively right now. He's burned 75% of his battery in one lap.
It hasn't even barely been half a lap.
And Meeb's just sitting up here, 70%.
Yeah,
cool as a cucumber. So is Jacko. He's saving about 60% of his battery.
A-Dub's pulled away from Jacko a little bit. Lancey's getting mighty close to making a move happen. Thinks about it on the back as he comes into the back of Jacko. Just unable to slow down enough. And that's going to see Jacko spin around a few times, and that's not what either of them are going to want to see. So Lancey came out away from that okay, but I imagine that might be a report later tonight.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. Either of them have damage.
Because we don't run simulation for endurance, correct? Or do we?
No, it's standard for both.
So I would imagine he would probably got away fine there. Didn't look like it was that hard of an impact.
It looks like both of them have front wings intact. Oh, an A-Dub, that is
unfortunate.
Killer penalty right there. And that was something you mentioned before. That was something you mentioned before. Was that one of those guys, A-Dub or Jacko, got a 3-second time penalty. Now Jacko is the lone member of the group with no time penalties.
Yeah, and as it stands, Jacko is still going to finish on the podium. If he can maybe knock Villeneuve off of his slot, close that gap down some, he could potentially still get second, maybe even fight for a win. Oh, he's still in contention for a win almost.
I mean, how crazy would that be?
That's insane.
Winning from 5th on track up to 1st.
My math's correct, right? He can still do that.
He could, in theory, but I think it would probably be A-Dub's win before it would be.
Yes, it definitely would.
Jacko's.
If A-Dub can pull out a 3-second gap, then definitely. Well, yeah, because I guess Jacko is 10 seconds back.
Yeah, A-Dub's just hanging right in there, flickering between 1.9 and 2.0. I mean,
Yeah,
he's got to be pulling out all the stops to make sure that you can stay within 3
you can
seconds.
see he's been burning off quite a bit of ERS as well to hold on that gap. I think he kind of screwed himself by burning so much on that first lap trying to make something happen, even though he
Yeah, and
knew
it's
that
so
was his
hard to
only.
regain ERS around here, too.
Yeah. I think he did everything right, but Meeb just had a little bit more to offer, and that contact they made definitely hampered A-Dub more than it did Meeb.
Yeah, I mean, A-Dub can do it, I think. It's just, he's got to nail every corner. It's got to be perfect,
Yeah,
from here on out.
yeah, he can't afford to make any slight mistakes, or even going wide at this point would put him outside that gap, I think.
And, it's about 1.5 seconds where you start picking up that slipstream, and you can see Meebs must be running a much lower downforce setup
Yeah,
than A-Dub. He just pulled out 0.3 of a second on that straight.
yeah, I've
But
been
A-Dub's got the
watching.
big exit from Wall of Champions here.
Yeah, he's able to gain back a tenth there, but I have noticed Meeb has been pretty on top at straight line speed. I don't think there's anyone who's running a faster setup than that. As A-Dub is just slowly starting to fall back, and I'm sure that desperation is starting to creep into his head, and he's just got to keep his thoughts clear and stay as consistent as he can, and he could do it. Although Meeb is not making it easy.
Yeah, and maybe it's the soft tires. Maybe they're falling off earlier than what we were expecting. Because I think, looking back, A-Dub, when he started on the softs, was struggling with those softs pretty early on. So, maybe that's kind of the same issue we're having here, is that, they fell off too early and losing pace to the mediums.
That could be true, yeah. As Meeb sets another fastest lap, I think he's starting to push now. Just 5 laps remaining. He's not wanting to leave any room for error and let this win slip away from him.
And it looks like Jacko, correct me if I'm wrong here, but he's just barely flickering between P3 and P4 with Lancey's penalty. So Lancey's gap to the leader is 6.5 and Jacko's is 12.8. Needs to make up about another 2-3 tenths to be within that 6 seconds.
Yeah, he did. Mead currently with that 112.5 for a fastest lap. That's 6 tenths faster than anybody else at this point.
Wow. It's that low fuel for you.
Absolutely. I'm wondering if that's playing a factor for A-Dub or any of these other drivers on why their pace is a bit slower, if they've had to go into more of a fuel recovery mode at this stage, or if they're able to keep pushing still.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question because, I guess we did have a safety car, but whenever I finish one of these races, I have like 4 or 5 laps of extra fuel.
Yeah, so. I overfuel by a lap every time, and it usually comes out being pretty close to what I need, so I'm not sure. I know I'm far from good at fuel management, but I know Jacko's pretty good at that. And I'm not sure how anyone else is. I haven't really asked any of the other drivers, but...
Yeah, but Jacko's about 5/10 out of P3 right now, so
which is
we'll have
insane,
another.
sitting in P5 at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this has been a pretty daunting task for all of these drivers here. Everyone aside from Meeb has been struggling with a little bit of something or the other, a couple spins and a couple bad strategy calls maybe for most of these drivers, but through and through Meeb was probably the most dominant driver on track today, I'd say, with how he was able to cut through the field and then just build up a 40-second gap before
it's
that
crazy.
safety car.
You know, it seems like, I don't know if it's Lewis Hamilton, you know, behind that wheel or what's going on, but you know, it feels like a lot of these guys have been trying to fight like perfection tonight.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, every corner, you know, he's quicker on the straights. Like, it just feels unfair for,
it
for
almost
guys,
does.
but it's like, but you know, we're really privileged to have a great driver like me. I mean, he's been nearly faultless throughout all this time.
Yeah.
In endurance, and I mean, I think that's really all that needs to be said.
I think in every race that he's been in the endurance series, he's been on the podium.
I can't think of a time.
Lancey picks up another 3-second penalty,
and that will surely put Jacko ahead now.
That's gonna give Jacko the podium now. And I think it's a privilege that we've got each and every one of these guys. I mean, all these different storylines, all these different drivers and skill levels, and every week or every other week they can come out here and have fun together, which I think is something hard to find in today's world even.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think, like, you know, when you say that, I think of guys like Villeneuve and, you know, our boy Baba Yaga, and like even A-Dub, like stepping up tonight and doing the race. Like, that's, you know, with this group of guys come out in P2, like that's
impressive
unheard of,
feat,
you know. Yeah. And it's like, you know, whether it's 7 guys or a full grid, I don't really care all that much. As long as, you know, we give them a platform to, you know, exhibit their best racing and consistency and cleanliness. And
absolutely.
I think they've all done really well tonight, except a little A-Dub dive bomb and
a couple spins from gravity, but
a little the Lancey and Jacko incident.
Yeah,
know, but I don't blame those guys for any of those incidents. I think,
no. Especially at the point in the Grand Prix where these are happening, these guys have been going at it for long,
hours.
Yeah, and that's a special type of dedication, and I think that is definitely something that's underrated in the F1 sim world. Is the 100% racers are just built different.
Yep, built different. All right,
so last coming lap up here. As Meeb got nice and close to that wall there, the champions, before starting his final lap. Might have made him clinch up a little bit there.
A little bit wide through turn 1.
Brilliant drive from him. He's pulled out a 6.6 second gap.
Unbelievable.
Nine laps, if that much, while on the harder compound.
Well, I think we went in, what, lap 59?
So I guess it's been 11 laps.
11, yeah. Yeah.
So that's
7 seconds in 11 laps.
Pretty crazy to see. He's coming around that final hairpin now. So he's had started from last on the grid, actually, in P7. Dominant drive through the first few laps, cut through most of the field, and dispatch the midfield one by one. He's coming down that final corner now. And tonight's race winner for Canada is going to be Meeb01 in the Mercedes. So brilliant, dominant performance by him, and star-studded performance there by A-Dub in the Ferrari to pick up P2. A little bit of a reserve role there. Came in clutch for his team, followed by Lancey at the moment in P3 in that Williams. And he's going to drop down to P4 when all is said and done, as Jacko is able to get fewer penalties than him and claim that number 3 spot. So it's going to be what he'd like to see in his championship battles from both constructors and the drivers there. And they're going to see Villeneuve in P5 in the other Ferrari crossing the line. And then now the last driver across is going to be Baba Yaga in the Red Bull. So a great little performance from him there to pick up some extra points there, as there was a little bit of a smaller lobby. So it's going to see him move up, and we're going to see quite the shift around in the driver standings now, as we had quite a few guys missing tonight. But driver of the day, no surprise, is going to be Meeb, last to first, and a dominant showing at that. So beautiful, beautiful race through and through by all of these guys. And Ford, any final comments before we head over to interviews?
You know, it was a small lobby, it was a small race. I don't think many people had good expectations for this race, but man, it was good. It was good to hop back in the booth, and you know, I think these guys, you know, their strategy, there were overtakes, there was consistency on levels that were up there with the best. I mean, it was great to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a pleasure sharing the booth with you for this one. This was a pretty fun one to cast with somebody else. But as you can see, there's your final standings. You got Meeb in P1, and he's going to get a bonus point there for fastest lap, as well as A-Dub in P2 in that Ferrari, Jacko P3, Lancey P4 with a bonus point for a podium. Meeb also gets another bonus point for a hardest charger, which is going to be crucial for his championship hopes. Villeneuve in P5, Baba Yaga, great performance in P6, and then a DNF from Gravity sees him sitting in that last spot. So, Baba Yaga, you do not have a lack of talent, good sir. You are a phenomenal driver. Don't let anyone tell you differently.
Alright, let's get everybody in here.
Are you working on getting invites? I don't think I've got anybody.
Yeah, I added him.
All right. Hey, here's one. Hey, Doug, welcome.
Whoa. Is Rocket Man Meb joining?
What's that?
Is Rocket Man?
There he is.
Rocket Man. There he go.
I gotta ask our question for Meeb quick. This man's
All right,
obviously
hold
got
on.
places to be.
Hold on. Yeah, well, let's wait and see if Baba Yaga or Villeneuve will join. We'll just start from the bottom and see. Okay.
Here he
All right.
is.
So we're just waiting for Villeneuve, I think.
Yes, sir.
All right. Everybody besides Baba Yaga and Gabba, can you guys just mute yourself till it's your turn?
All
Okay.
right, sweet. So Baba Yaga, let's how was the race from your perspective? Like, what were you thinking about coming into tonight's race? Oh yeah, it is a very demanding circuit, but I think you did a good job keeping it clean out there tonight. You were one of the few drivers, although we didn't really see many incidents. Everyone kind of had a couple moments, but I think you were one of the few who I never saw slipping.
So what was kind of like your strategy for tonight? Like, did you kind of have a yeah? Besides that, like, do you have a kind of idea when you're gonna pit and all that going into it? Yeah. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and right. Right. Me and Gabba were talking about you a lot tonight. I don't know if you listen to this stream on Twitch, but um yeah, but me and Gabba were talking about you tonight, and you know, although we never like see you at the front of the grid or whatever it is, like, you know, you do a great job at like being consistent. And I mean, Gabba, what's he moving up to now in the championship?
Yeah,
P6?
you'll be
I mean,
P6 now.
that's that's like pretty impressive. So we we applaud your consistency, and it's pretty impressive.
Yeah,
So
it's nice to always have consistent drivers on the grid for sure. Yeah, very nice. Mm-hmm,
yeah,
absolutely.
yeah, right. Yeah, that's fair, and that's a good reputation to shoot
Yeah,
for,
it's a
and
good quality to
um,
have.
good race tonight. It was nice seeing you out tonight, and thanks for hosting. Appreciate that too.
Yeah,
So
big.
so we'll oh my gosh.
We'll
It
have
was
to.
actually both me and Gabba who said, it was me and Gabba who both said we'd
Yes,
invite you during Christmas.
we'll have to coordinate our schedules to make that happen.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
But
Let's move on to Lancey here.
here we
Nice
got.
race tonight. Yeah. Baba Yaga.
Do we got Villeneuve here in chat or no?
What's that?
Oh, I guess we don't got Vil. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, Lancey. So Lancey, what was the race like from your perspective? It was had a couple incidents there that looked like they might be heart wrenching moments for you, but how was it for you?
Um, it was long for mostly. Couple concentration dips, and paid the price for it.
Yes, and yeah. So did you have any ideas? Did you think you'd be fighting for a win tonight, or were you planning on trying to see yourself stay up on a podium, or what was kind of where did you think you'd end up tonight here at Canada with your
Well,
pace?
it's not a it's not my strongest track, but um, could have been nice to at least get in stay in maps DRS for one lap, but I touched some grass on the outside and it sent me into a
Yeah.
spin. So from there it was a bit of a lonely race. So
Yeah, I feel like lonely was the name of tonight's race for sure. Was it?
yeah,
Was it? Did you feel it was any harder at all to race with fewer guys in the lobby, or did you
um,
find that as an advantage?
I don't. It's a bit of a double-edged sword because the more people there are, the better I can keep my concentration. And like if the races are like this, then I just dip and then I just spin. So it's unfortunate.
Yeah, absolutely. Forward, did you have any questions for Lancey there?
Yeah, I mean, I think from, our perspective, it was like equally as hard to watch as it was for you to race, and I don't mean that in like a bad way, but you were showing great pace throughout the night. There's just a couple hiccups, but did you? I kind of have the same question I had for Bobby Yago. Like, did you have a set strategy you were going for like throughout the race, or what was kind of your thought process?
Yeah, the strategy was medium soft, so that
Okay,
was
yeah.
I still did that, but I got a BS drive-through on the
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
NFL.
We were heartbroken to see that, honestly. But yeah, I mean, otherwise, like, I thought the pace looked really good tonight, and you really can hang your hat on that.
The pace was better than I expected, but Canada's always, at least for me, I always get at least 6 seconds, so I didn't expect that much from it, but yeah, it is what it is.
Right. Yeah. But anyways, good race, and it'll be good points for you, and that's something that I tell all the guys. I said in the stream, but showing up is your main competitor.
Yeah,
you have to be there to earn the points, even when there's 7 people tonight. So you guys are all getting a massive advantage. You're all pulling closer to Scornsy, and it's gonna help you out in the long run. So.
Yeah, that's true. And of course, still, it was fun. So
that's good. Fun is the number one part of these.
Oh yeah. Yep. But nice race, Lancey, and guess we'll move on to
Jacko's
Jacko.
Up next.
We'll run to the bathroom real quick.
All right. So Jacko, let's hear the race from your perspective. What did you think was possible, and were you pretty happy with how things turned out for you?
Sort of not too happy because the whole game plan was to not have any issues and move up when there was no penalty for me and penalties for everyone else, like I kind of expected at Canada. But I couldn't take full advantage because I got hit in the ass on like lap 59 or something.
Yeah, we saw that.
Took me out of the equation. So I don't know if I could have stayed close enough to win. I'm trying to figure that out, actually.
You were really close. I think if you would have stayed on pace just for a couple more laps, I was up until like 3 or 4 laps before the end where you were set to win from 5th place, which would have been...
I mean, we were talking about it, and I mean, realistically speaking, I think it would have went to A-Dub before it would have went to you. I think because A-Dub had 3 seconds.
I was with no penalties and I was running behind A-Dub that whole time, so I don't feel like I would have fallen out of 3 seconds. Maybe he would have stayed within DRS, which kind of leads me to believe I might have been within Meb as well because he had 6, right?
Yeah,
it was 6, 3, and then 6, 6 from 1st to 4th.
Because I felt like I lost about 5 or 6 seconds in the spin, so I'm not sure where the other 4 seconds went. Maybe it was just not getting a tow. I didn't see any damage on my indicator, so I'm not really sure where that time went. That's what I kind of want to know. Yeah. Otherwise, maybe I would have been in the fight.
And you were on the soft tires there at the end too, right?
Yeah.
Were those falling off pretty quickly for you guys tonight, or were they pretty solid for a few laps?
They were good for like 20 laps.
Okay.
And they could go more than that, but they weren't good after that necessarily.
Well,
think-
so now's the golden question. How many warnings were you running on at the end?
I got one on lap 1, and I got a second one on lap 23, and then I got none.
Wow.
So you were driving on 2 warnings for what, 47 laps?
Just about, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't change how I was driving because of it. Lap 1, I can't remember why, but I think I couldn't see my braking point because I was too close to Landsy. And then 23, I think that was the only actual like terrible corner cut I made. The rest of them were just I didn't get close. I don't think, which is probably why I was falling back from some drivers, because I don't tend to you know go too close to the limits for the exact reason of there could be a late safety car and I'll
Yes.
just win the race. But yeah,
Yes.
maybe next time.
Yeah, next time out, I'm expecting you to win from 6th place again. I would love to be able to say that.
Well, the idea was to win from 3rd place.
Yeah, but
you know.
either way, Jacko, I mean, I think you did a good job tonight. It was entertaining, kind of see all the little battles you had throughout the race, and thought you handled them all pretty well. So nice job tonight.
Yeah, cheers.
All right,
Moving up
we'll
to
move on to
A-Dub
A-Dub.
here on the Ferrari there with a surprise performance there. Because you, I was wondering, how much practice did you get in before tonight's race?
From when I asked, yo, can I race tonight? That's when, okay, let me see if I can get it set up better, and did some practice from then on. So I would say about an hour. Yeah, so
I mean, that's still pretty good.
That's impressive.
I bet Meeb practiced for like 5 minutes and just hopped on.
And me looked at his PlayStation this morning and decided he was ready.
Yeah, I saw real quick. He was kind of fast. He was a little fast when he went from last to third in like 3 laps. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but just kind of tell us more about your race. How did it all go for you?
At first, it didn't go exactly to plan because I wanted to go soft, medium. Did the 2-stop, and I thought I could get a really good start on the softs. But they went off for me pretty quickly, probably because of my traction control. I kind of burned through my tires really easily. So like
that's what I was thinking, because they seem to wear off quicker than who was on the softs with you at the start. Was it Jacko maybe?
It was Gravity. Gravity. Was on the softs with me at the start. And it went a little left then. But when I got up to the mediums, I had the pace. Then the VSC came out, and it was kind of sort of not in my favor, kind of for me. But it did get me kind of on par with Jacko when he went on to the softs, and I was able to catch him right before we put on the same lap, and that put me in front of him. And then we undercut Lanesy after that. And the safety car came out and it put me right behind Meb. So, it went left, but then it came back into my favor as the race went on.
I think it definitely did. And yeah, coming back to you and Jacko pitting on that same lap, we definitely thought someone was flying into that wall.
That was crazy. I thought Jacko was taking you out because you were on the inside line. I thought Jacko was just going to go right into your side pods. It was game over.
Yeah, that was a scary moment on stream there for us.
That would have made our night a lot more boring with only we would have had 4 drivers left after that.
Pretty much. So, that would have taken away pretty much all the racing for the remainder of the race too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just had a feeling he would pit soon enough because he was on the soft, and it was perfect timing.
I just had the thought of you playing that entire move on. I had the thought that maybe he would pit soon.
Hopefully he pit. If he don't, man.
Well,
oh man,
A-Dub, now the golden question. Now that football season's over, when are you going full time in the 100%?
I think 2 weeks from now is what he told me.
I don't know. Partially because this upcoming race is when I have to leave. I have to travel back up to school, which is it's a 13-hour drive, and I don't know if I'll get there before the race starts. So that's the only thing.
I think if you have about half the pace you had tonight, you should get there with a few hours to spare.
Yeah, you should get there in like 6 hours or so.
Well,
And by that point, it's like,
enough.
why not just drive in the 100% series, right?
yeah, like
Yeah,
it's just a different chair. Is the only difference.
here's a different channel.
All right. Well,
But,
it was a nice race to watch. Nice job on the P2. That was a good race to watch on your end, and we'll now move on to our speedster of tonight,
Yes, Mr.
Big
Speed.
bird guy.
Mr. Meeb.
Hey, so let's hear the race from your perspective. What was it? What was it like at the end of qualifying? There, realizing you were going to be starting from the back. Did that change your strategy at all, or did you kind of have the same plan? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was gonna say. There you go. Yeah, I was gonna say you had a 43-second gap built up before that safety car, which is I can't even put into words how you wouldn't do that. That's insane. Like you are just. Man, did you have a lower downforce? It's a pretty low downforce setup for today. Okay, so nothing too crazy. That's good, yeah. Yeah, I noticed you were getting pretty close to that wall sometimes, and it was, it was scaring me a little bit. But oh, gotcha. Mm-hmm. That's good.
Yeah, Meeb. I remember the first time I raced with you, I think, was in Canada. I can't remember if it was. Did you race in TCR? Yeah, I think it was like me and you and P1 and P2 in TCR, and I was on like the mediums, something, and you went on the softs, who just flew past me. And tonight I was like, you know what? I don't care if he's in 7th. I don't care if he's in 20th. Meeb's going all the way, and he's winning this tonight. So, I mean, it was incredible to watch. I mean, I think your pace. I was saying it to Gab earlier. It was like these guys are up against perfection tonight. So, it was really, really good drive.
Yeah, that was it was fun watching.
Yeah, yeah. Yep. Yeah, and that's what I do too. I mean, I try to preach that as much as I can when people are asking for help, is like, just do races, like learn how to do a 50%, 100% race. But yeah, it was a great race tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, you got the hard charger bonus, and you finished with fastest lap, which is gonna put you tied for the lead of the championship as well. So congratulations on that. So it was a pretty great race from everybody there forward. Did you have any other questions for anybody?
I think that's about it, guys. I mean, all I can say really is thanks for coming out. I know it wasn't really ideal conditions for a great race tonight, but I thought there are a lot of little moments of greatness in there where you guys made clean overtakes to like keep on track with your pace to catch the next car, and even like A-Dub going into turn 1 with me, like that was like a cool move. And
yeah.
I mean, it
It
made things fun to watch. So
Absolutely.
I think going forward in the future, like we're ever in a situation where we got 5, 6, 7, 8 guys, go out there, show what you got. It's free points, and you guys all executed and really helped your case to win the championship tonight.
Absolutely. Saw a lot of good racing across the board, and some, have some fun in the stats and changing positions around there. And we're going to be back on the 20th in France, so I hope everybody gets their long sweeping corner practice in, because we're going to be having
I'll
quite
be
a
back.
few of those.
I'll be back. I'm coming back from 13 points. I'm going to come and take the championship.
I don't know.
Just kidding.
I think at this point I should start hopping in there, and we can have our own little battle, commentators battle for the championship.
I'm gonna have to pay Crash like $25 an hour to come commentate. So.
Oh man, he's making 25. Man, I've been giving you the discount.
Yeah, free.
But yeah, it'll
wrap this up,
be good. Yeah, thank you everybody for tuning in. It was a small group, but as you guys saw, if you're still stuck with it this far, pretty interesting battle. A lot of penalties, so I'm sure these guys are going to be working on their penalty improvement over the next couple of weeks here. But we will, like I said, we will see you again on the 20th in France for our next round. And then after that, so we're actually at the halfway point after this race. So not a whole lot some of these guys further down are going to be able to do, as these guys in the top are going to be looking to button it up, and Williams is going to want to extend their lead as much as they can. But until next time, that'll be all for tonight. So thanks, guys. And as always, stay safe.